I'm trying to see if we've got any chat.
No, it doesn't look like it. Usually pops up at the bottom of the screen on this.
Yeah, but I don't know if we've done it to. I can't see any chat at all.
Well,
There you go,
no,
live chat.
God knows. Yeah, nothing there yet.
Do you know why? Because they're all on the other one.
Probably. Hello.
Hiya, Pete. Oh, you can't hear me, can he? Oh, he can.
Hey up.
Hiya, Rob. We was in the was trying to get it going on the other link, and I needed to sort of come out of the screen. So I've swiped up on my Android to hit the three dots and accidentally went live on the other one, and you can't sort of back out of it. I can only, hi Mexicali, I can only end it. So I ended it, deleted it, and put a new link up. Sort of rapid, quick time. Apparently, you're not allowed to swear within the first 10. Is it 10 seconds?
30. You're allowed to swear in 30 seconds or you can't monetize it, probably.
Yeah, you can't. Apparently, you can't swear within IACAS. You can't swear within the first 30 seconds of a live, because if you do, you get restrictions. They don't monetize it, but we're not monetized anyway, so it don't matter. We might get banned from being able to, we might get banned from just being able to go live as and when, like, you know. Only in my earlier days, Rob. Hiya, Red.
It's good. Evening, good. Well, chat's flying up now.
Shut the front door. Hi, Burn. I'll sit and suck on my moped engine.
Yeah.
And hope I don't set the smoke alarm off that I'm sitting underneath. Oh yeah, very, very, very long. Don't talk about Glenrothes. It's one part of the UK that still grinds my gears. Glenrothes does. So, not Glenrothes itself, just someone who lives there. Those that shall not be mentioned or named, Rob. Do you like the view anyway? So just before my lights are on timers, and I know they're probably going to go off.
Yeah.
I know they're probably going to go off. So we were testing out before you guys came. We were testing out that woman from Amazon's technical abilities. I'm not going to say her name because she'll ask me a question.
Yeah, that's what they do, isn't it?
So how is everyone on Friday? Good to see you, Kaz, as well. Much better view. Yeah, we've been using a bit of software called StreamYard, and it's free. I think you get a lot more functionality if you pay for it, but it's not cheap. And like a monthly fee type thing, and Steam Red, and I think with StreamYard, only one of the YouTubers on it gets the stats, the viewing figures and stuff. No one else gets anything from it. And YouTube brought out this thing that we're using called Go Live Together. I'm not sure how many people you can put on it, and I'd imagine 4 would probably be okay in the screen size. Has to be vertical. Can't do it horizontal either. So I say it has to be vertical. You don't get any choice. But we believe that both of us will get the viewing figures. So we'll find
We'll
out
find out.
shortly afterwards.
Hope so. Anyway,
Hi, John. Off work bruised. Oh dear. Oh dear. Horses. Yeah, I know all about horses. So we've got a little bit of a structure for tonight, guys. We've got, if you've seen in the group, we've got 3 talking points. 2 are sort of not serious, but they're serious enough for us. They're genuine subjects. One of them's a bit light-hearted, and then at the end of it, we'll do a bit of a Q&A with you guys, and based on what we've spoke about in our questions, probably throw it open to you guys and sort of get some input from you, and it'll make sense as I sort of go through. So what's a bit weird was in StreamYard you can share your screen, so I can put slides up and stuff, and we didn't work out how to do that with Go Live Together on YouTube. So what I've done is I've come prepared with the questions. So
comms, latest technology.
these these are just discussions between Keith's going to answer this, and then I'll answer that as well. So if leave your questions and answers till the end. There's only 3 simple questions that we're going to go through. The second one's a little bit light-hearted, and probably just give you guys a bit of an update on what we're doing. So I'll throw this one over to Keith first of all then. So if any of you follow Keith's channel, Keith's bizarrely Aquatic Fanatics UK, nothing to do with the old group that Rob used to do, just total coincidence. And it's got a YouTube channel, a few more subs than me, but still not monetized. Neither of us are. And looking to sort of, I suppose as people that provide content and as fish keepers, shrimp keepers, we're always looking to change things, and there's always new sort of projects or ideas or things that we'd like to do, or things that we've sort of got in the plans to do. So I'll throw this one over to you first, Keith. I'll sit on my lips so I don't keep interrupting. And it's room plans. So for your room, Keith.
So I think for me, the first thing is I kind of want to shut this tank down. Once the rivers have grown out, so I'm going to shift them to a different planted tank. This tank, it kind of ties into what I was saying on my video today. The angels, I got them as a breeding pair while I was growing my Monica Peru angels out. And they haven't done much breeding. They haven't done much of anything. So they were kind of a breeding pair that someone else had, and they decided they had surplus to requirements. So they said to me, "You can have them if you want them." So I picked them up. But they just haven't done anything for me. The male's he's a bit lazy, so I think I'll leave that as it is. The guppies, they just don't do well in there, so I'm thinking of having a play out with all these. I've got wabber musters in here. You see them popping back every now and again. There's one in the corner now. They're growing out. They're doing well. So for that tank, I'd like to get all the livestock out for now. I'm having fun with all the beginner plants in here. They're absolutely flying. I've done a stream, didn't I, the other week, cutting all this LOD denser, and it's right to the top again and right across again. All the other plants are flying up the tank, so tank's doing well. I'm having loads of fun with it. And then I've got my Wallstad tank. I've not long set that up, and I want to let that go. Maybe I've been thinking of maybe shutting this tank down and moving the Wallstad up here, the 4-foot, because it's on the floor. And the only time I ever get to see it is when I'm recording it for YouTube in my videos, because the rest of the time I just see duckweed, salvinia, and some red root floaters, and it's not really much fun if I'm honest. Though, I've got bright orange Bosemani in there. I can't see them. A big 5-footer. This one's interesting for me. Like, I've got all the cherry shrimp in there. There's different. I don't know the different types of cherry shrimp, but I've got a ton of cherry shrimp in there, and I want to move them out, and I want to do something with them. I don't know whether to get them want to get them outside or something. I don't want them in this. I want to get this tank dirted, but I kind of want to separate the colony and cool anything that's not up to my standard. I've been talking to you about this, haven't I, Glenn?
Yeah.
There's like some reelies in there looking, and some with like white legs and white faces and stuff. So I want to kind of get them out the colony and then maybe move a few on to people who want any. I was looking at doing a deal or something. You can help me out, figure something out with them. And if anyone is interested, I can shift some of them on. And then once they're out, I can set up a colony with half of them. And then I want to date the tank, but I want to do something called a hybrid method, where it'll be a dated tank. Well, I've got a few tricks where I could possibly bring my CO2 kit out here and run it high tech, with higher lights and stuff. Because I want to test, like, I want to give myself a challenge, you know what I mean? See if I can get like plants grown, but I want to get some monster plants in here. Like the likes of Ponzi Eaton. I don't know whether I've told you, Glenn, but I'm after a Crenham.
I
might have mentioned-
wouldn't be in its hands by any chance, would it?
How do you know that? Yeah, so, but then that's what I want to do. I want to get data. I want to try what's called the hybrid method, which is, it's a bit similar to the Wallstab method, but there's a bit more to it. A bit more
There may
complex
be
with the
people in
nutrition
here.
and stuff.
There may be people in here that, and apologies if you all know this, but there may be people in here that don't understand what a dirted tank is.
It's basically, instead of using like aqua soil or any like aquarium substrates for planted tanks, you just use organic potting soil and then cap it so the soil can't get into the water column, and then you plant into the soil, and the plants will root in the soil, and then they get all the micronutrients off the soil basically. So then all you have to do is make sure there's macronutrients, the likes of nitrogen, phosphate, or phosphorus and potassium in the water column. So that's
Which tends to
basically
come from fish.
What's that?
Tends to come from fish food and fish.
Yeah. It's the I haven't even got any fish food to hand, but it comes from the protein content. You got protein, so like this Placo pellets is 34% protein, 16% of that's nitrogen, about 1.5% of that is phosphorus, crude phosphorus, and then in the potash is magnesium, calcium, and potassium. So that's all.
Just quickly, in case anyone doesn't understand it, there's the term dirty tank is a US thing. In the UK, it tends to be called a Wallstad method, and for want of a better purpose, it's a natural ecosystem where the plants and the soil become the filter. What Keith's on about doing is sort of a hybrid between that type of system, but maybe use a filter or inject CO2 into that with different lighting to sort of use components of a Wallstad method, but also components of higher tech tanks. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And there's a couple of ideas I've been looking at with the farm fish method. Some of that tie in well with it because he uses peat moss, whereas in the Wallstad method, the kind of Wallstad talks about using organic cotton soil, or Miracle Grow Organics got sphagnum moss peat in it or peat moss. Farm fish, 70% of his substrate is sphagnum peat moss. But this is great. It's basically like Akadama almost. Brimstone, where it's got the high cation exchange capacity, so it pulls all the nutrients in and stores them. Well, that's basically what that'll do organically. But the problem is it'll lower your pH if you don't play with it right, you know what I mean? So you have to get it, because plants don't like low pHs and soft water. They like a lot of calcium, don't they? So, and
Mine
then
don't.
all the shrimp keepers will be like, well, obviously you dose it with shrimp minerals, and you're like, well, actually a lot of them produce hydrogen sulfide. So you have to use different stuff, because if it's got sulfates in it, there's one of it only needs a bond with hydrogen, and you got hydrogen sulfide in it. if it's low oxygen, if you create an area in your substrate that's low oxygen and you've got sulfates in there, you're creating hydrogen sulfide potentially. So not the end of the world. It'll oxidize as it comes back up to the top, but if your roots aren't going to do very well in there, you know what I mean. So
That that ties into sort of one of the methods that I really sort of promote in the Caradina hobby, and that's a very thin layer of substrate, and then use a UGF box filter, so you've constantly got flow going through the soil. You've
yeah,
got
that's what.
soil in the UGF box filter, which eliminates that buildup of hydrogen sulfide and toxic gases.
Yeah. Well, the with this method I'm looking at, I'm thinking of running canister filter. I know we're supposed to use all the all the bacteria is supposed to live in the soil and fertilize the stuff, but if I'm honest, if I'm pushing plants that hard, I don't think natural processes would cut it. I think I'd need to. It's Karen asking me, so are you capping it with substrate? I will be capping it with either pea
Pea
gravel
gravel.
or some, one of the nice Hugo Comiti ones. You know the micro, like they're like 3 mil, aren't they? You know the little tiny, it's really fine substrates. That'd be perfect for
The,
it, I think.
the Seachem fluorite's similar, but the sand, although it's not sand, needs washing because there's a lot of sort of red clay stuff comes off the red one. The black one I
Yeah,
use myself. I use it's like a black quartz sand, but it's
yeah,
quite thick. Interestingly, Rob's got soils capped with sand, but the
yeah,
type of sand that he uses is quite big grains.
yeah. That's what you need.
It's
You need
quite big grain sand,
yeah.
and
Because if you get,
it's flourishing quite well.
yeah, as long as you can get nutrients down, like if you get if you got organics down underneath your cap, you need oxygen to be able to get down there as well. Otherwise, start getting conditions where people call it hypoxic, some call it anoxic, some call it anaerobic, and then we all end up arguing over what it is. But basically, in these conditions, instead of the bacteria using oxygen and the organics to produce ammonia and CO2, they start doing other things. They start producing nitrogen gas, nitrous oxide, potentially hydrogen sulfide, and they'll flip nitrates back to nitrites. So you'll get a constantly incomplete nitrogen cycle.
If they're not getting oxygen,
If the organics, if the bacteria in the organics aren't getting oxygen,
yeah,
it'll
100% anaerobic that is. Don't care what anyone says. Prove me wrong. That's anaerobic. It's got no oxygen.
smells like egg. That's the sulfates.
Yeah, it's
And I've got see where
anaerobic.
I've
Yeah.
got that. So yeah, right.
Excuse me a sec,
Where
guys. Yeah.
where I've got that soil there, underneath that, the soil has gone great because there's obviously something fermenting in there. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely something anaerobic going on.
Okay. So moving forward, are you looking to move the stock out the tank behind you? Maybe
Yeah,
move your forefoot over, but you're not 100%, and trying to get your wall stud up off the floor. Well,
yeah,
off the lower part of the rack.
yeah. I don't know whether to move my 4 footer up here and set a new stand up for it, or keep going with this one. Like because I'm enjoying this one, so I'm kind of where do we go? But I definitely want to do something with this tank because what it was is I set the fish room up and then I started YouTube and I was heating the fish room, so I kind of filled everything with projects. And some projects were working for me, some of them like I've achieved what I want to with them and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I'm moving that because I need to stand up. Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
I'm
so kind of
struggling.
achieved what I
I'm
want to
struggling
achieve.
to sat
So
down.
I don't know what to do with the tanks, you know, because I don't really want tanks on the floor that I can't see anymore. I'd rather have a couple of really nice tanks that I was putting a lot of effort into, rather than loads of like half projects. Like I've got blue shrimp in here, and then I've got me Waponga, red laser, um, rainbows in there. I want to get them in here. They've grown out rapid. I thought they hadn't budged, and then I was watching one of my videos where it first got them, and they're like double the size already. So they're flying the Coast Monet down there. I want to get them somewhere I can see them. Well, as I say, I want to do some with these blues and these reds. I want to put them in somewhere where I can breed them out, breed big colonies. Like I've really got a kick out of breeding all these big colonies. This big colony of reds out.
The
So
thing with Neos is, although they're prolific breeders, you have to really be on top of them, and certain colours are harder than others to keep on top of to keep the strain.
yeah,
I found yellows to be pretty good. I found blues you're on top of all the. Well, I was. A lot will depend on where your shrimp come from in the first place. So if they were genetically good to start with, you probably wouldn't get lots of calls from them.
yeah,
With Neo, you know, um, my blues were hard work. You know, you were forever sat there with the net just that's not good enough out. That's not good enough out. Um, the fire reds that I get off this guy, um, they're sort of 80-20. So you
yeah.
probably get 80% good stuff out of them.
Do you
But
want
I
me to show
don't.
you what
I,
I've got
I,
here, Glenn? Do you want me to
I
show you?
don't breed them. I've seen them. You
Yeah,
can show the guy
I'm just showing everyone on.
because you can spin the camera on this way.
Yeah, so I can't really glare off something. So that's off the Wallstad tank, I think. Can you see them all?
Yeah.
The whole tank's like that. They're just everywhere. But can you zoom? Yeah. See, I think
It's
this is.
literally, it's
I
literally
think
a case of sitting there where you've got some that are really pale. Take them out.
yeah. That's. I find it hard to do that in this tank.
Yeah,
So
because of all the plants and stuff.
and it's 5 foot and 18 inches deep, and it's nearly a head height. So how do you get 18
Yeah,
inches away over the top of a tank?
step
It's
ladders,
but,
long net and feeding time.
see,
You
Mister
just sit
Fishbird.
there watching them.
I said
But
set
yeah,
subs up outside for the shrimp. Now this is a really interesting conversation for me. Like what
this is
what tubs do I
this is
use?
why, especially the Caradina people, we don't tend to have. We like plants, but we tend to have plants that you can move. So
Yeah,
epiphyte stuff on rock, on wood, you have a piece of wood with a couple of bits of something on it. Um, the only other plant I really use is it's not factually correct, but the only other plant I really use or I'd recommend is flame moss, and that's because it doesn't attach to anything. The only danger with flame moss is if you want to take it out to have a look, it's usually got millions of babies in it.
yeah.
So,
Well,
and if you get rid of it or sell off pieces because you've got way too much of it, guarantee you're putting babies in a bag to send them to someone.
I think
But
if I had the tank, I think I'd keep what do you call it? The pots you get from the shop. I've got
yeah,
tons of these knocking around. I'd probably just keep them in pots. The plants I'd buy plants that I know would happily sit in the pot. Do you know what I mean? And then
yeah,
or get some
but just
of
get
these for a couple of bigger plants. Put a bigger bit of soil in the
yeah,
bottom where I've
they
got more
work,
plants in.
they work.
So
Not
then you could just
not
empty the
not
tank, can't
cheap
you?
now. Not cheap now. The terracotta pots they used to be at one time.
Really, aren't they? I I'd leave them all stuck around my garden. I kick them over and smash them all the time,
Yeah, they're not cheap.
and I'm smashing them to bits.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
I
Well,
didn't realise that.
I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they were expensive, but they're not cheap. They're not like a quid a piece. They're not. You buy half a dozen for sort of 25 quid or something. I might be completely wrong, but when
I
I
think I
looked at
bought
them,
that. Sure, I bought that for about 30 pence.
yeah, probably. When I looked at them online, they weren't cheap at all.
No,
So, okay, should we move on to me and my plans for the room?
I'll just finish quickly. I've got the Manica Peru in the living room and a high-tech tank in the living room. I'm not sure what to do with that. I'm thinking of maybe shifting the Manica Peru out of there. I don't know what to do with them. And then the CO2, I'm thinking of maybe bringing out here. I'm whacking it on this so we can all have fun watching my plants grow.
I've got CO2 in the house.
Yeah,
I'm one of the tanks. I've got two tanks in the house, a 90 litre and a 180, and
yeah.
the 180 is the bane of my life. Just always fighting Blackbeard because somebody doesn't know what a pinch is.
No.
But the one in the kitchen, or in the sort of kitchen diner, the 90, only I feed that, and I probably overfeed that, but not to the point that the one in the living room does. You know.
Yeah. What's going on in the chat, guys? Yeah. There's chatting going on, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so John's saying that he's soft resetting tanks every 6 months. I think that's an Asian method. I don't. To probably do 12, 18 months, dependent on
Yeah.
the soil and what I test back.
Has anyone got any questions for me before Glenn starts this, or do we just get into Glenn's? It takes about 45 seconds usually for chat to come through, Glenn. So
Rob says set up like a true breeder keeper. Oh, set up. No, that's John. He's talking to John.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
So
look like
apologies that I keep standing up and sitting down. I can't sit for long. It absolutely kills me. But and I start sweating and all sorts. I might have to turn the AC unit on. But it's quite humid in here as well. And although I do have a dehumidifier, but it's set to come on. It's set to come on temperature, not on humidity at the moment. Once the warm weather comes in, I could do it to AC unit. I could do the AC unit and a heat unit really, and then I'd use the dehumidifier for exactly what it was intended for, as a dehumidifier. I'm using it as background heat at the moment. So for me, room plans, I haven't really got a lot of room left to do anything else in here. What I've started doing, and I'm videoing this as well, is I'm in the process of moving. So, like Keith, I've got low tanks, but I haven't got them. When I set them up, my back wasn't as bad as it is now, and when I set them up, they weren't that low that I couldn't see them. So I've kept them off the floor somewhat. My back's got obviously gradually worse, and it's starting to get difficult. And the way we sort of move stuff from the house and move stuff around, I ended up with my Galaxies on the bottom of the 1200 rack and my higher grade Fancy Tigers on the bottom of that rack. So I'm literally in the process of moving. I've set up another couple of tanks. You'll probably see this in videos coming up, but I've set up another couple of tanks. I've moved a couple of things across. My breeding tanks of the videos that I've done, if any of you saw the video with the Galaxies where I selected for that sort of bronze colour and ended up losing half of what I'd selected over a silly mistake of nice shrimp as well, they've actually bred, but the white Fancy Tigers haven't. The one that are white dominant, they haven't bred. I haven't seen them breed yet. I know that Pete Hughes is in the chat. So Pete had 7 pure red line, and I'd never done any good with them. I probably had 100, and I just gradually kept losing them. Couldn't keep them going. And Pete's in the chat. I put them in a breeder box, and there were 7 left. I lost one, and there were 6. And now there's about 26. So they've actually bred in a breeder box, a couple of litres, and they've done better in that breeder box than they have in any tank I've ever had them in. So I need to work out how and why and stuff. So laughing. So for me at the moment, what I'm doing, Kazu's on here was going to have my orange eye blue tigers, because again I'd never done really well with them, and all of a sudden they boomed. So I think I had 10 and I probably got 40 now. So they've done really well, and my plan was to sort of get rid of instead of having loads of everything, just try and concentrate on certain shrimp. Moving the galaxies and the fancy tigers up to eye level will be a game changer, an absolute game changer for me. That will 100%. It'll be a game changer. I've been looking at some shrimp. There's some half decent stuff in there, but they're not great, if I'm honest. And what I'm probably going to have to do is spend some money and get some good starting material if I want to sort of go down that route of sort of breeding and learning the genetics and stuff. But what I do have, and I've already sort of started looking at this, I've got a male that I really like. It's not high grade, but I really like it. It's got nice colour in it, so it's got quite a bit of metallic blue. And what I'd like to do is try and find a fits male, try and find a female that's got another trait, and just put them two together and see where the dominant gene is. And then once I know where the dominant gene is, I can probably do other things and probably buy some stock in and stuff like that. But so for me, what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to get rid of a load of mixed stuff that I've got, or create one big massive mixed tank, and I'm going to go down to 3 or 4 species of shrimp, maybe 5, 6, but no more than that. And I actually have, and by doing that, I've got the room to have 2 things. I've got the room to have grow out tanks, so the juvenile shrimp or the baby shrimp aren't competing for food and biofilm. And I've also got then the ability to start playing with some crosses and some genetics and looking for specific traits. So that's probably where I'm starting now. That's at the point I'm on. I haven't got a massive amount of room in here. So, I know, probably a lot of you are into shrimp here, but I'm starting to buy, Rob will love this. I'm starting to buy house plants for the shrimp room. So my humidity is going to go even higher, but I've started to sort of go down the route of, I've got a couple of hanging baskets. I've bought a few air plants. I've got a couple of things in my Amazon basket, or I've been, and I've gone onto eBay and I've looked at nurseries and what's good beginner plants that'll work in this environment and stuff. So I'm sort of trying to fill the voids in the room with other life, which is just weird. I think I'm going to keep on with the isopods for now. I may end up. The plan with the isopods were, they don't use up a lot of room. With the isopods, if I sell them, I'm selling literally what I've bred. So if I can breed them, anything that I sell from that is profit. So the plan is, and this is in the process, but it's not as soon as I anticipated it was going to be. So I'm setting up a trading name underneath GB Shrimp, called Podpets UK. And the idea of that is, because the shrimp business isn't lucrative and it sort of barely covers the bills, I'm hoping that what that does is that then gives me the ability to support the shrimp business. And if I was still in work before I got ill, I had a lot of disposable income, so it was never a problem. But I'm having to run the business like a business properly, with cash flow, and think about cash flow and what I can buy and what's coming in, and I can't just go and spend money, So I'm still going to do the isopods. I may end up, not yet, Vern. I may end up just going for some of the higher end stuff, but I'll probably build up to that. Just so it can sort of, the mid to high end stuff, just so it can support my other hobby, which is the shrimp, and sort of use that money to reinvest that back into GB, if that makes sense. because that's profit. They use. I've got something like 25 tubs across 2 shelves on a standard rack. They use no heat. The room's heated. They use no heat. I've got a little bit of light on there, and it's literally a case of spray them and feed them once a week, and that's it. And some of them you spray once a fortnight, once a month, depending on what type they are. So they're pretty, you know. And if I can get them breeding to the point where I can sell them off, it's revenue for, to put back in the room. So that's me. I might do a tour of the room in a bit. So and the spiders were pets. If you watch the spiders, the frogs are pets, and I'm still waiting for my frogs for the other terrarium, but I am changing stuff in there. And for those of you that follow the channel, little Luton, the Rastafari spider, isn't with us anymore. I knew he was bad. He was just hanging around the bottom. They don't live very long. The males don't. And I actually gave him sugar water on a cotton bud yesterday, and he was on it straight away. I've got a photo of it. Unfortunately, it was the last photo. He died. I found him dead this morning. So I've probably got room for another spider, but I'm not going to rush into that because I have to pay for that out of my own money. So, okay. So next one then is. John is just saying Pure Redline have also strangely been my hardest to get back up to numbers. It had hundreds last summer until the tank crash. Do you know what's really weird about that, John? I see so often people have got, because they're crystal, I see so often people with crystal shrimp in neo parameters thriving, and it does my head in. Absolutely does my head in, because they shouldn't be in those parameters, and shops are selling them in tap water and selling them to people who've got normal fish tanks, which aren't set up for that type of shrimp, and it just balls my piss, if I'm honest. But anyway, so this is the light-hearted bit. So with your room, and you've got to do it on because we could all go and buy a mansion, So we're going to do this on, if money wasn't an object and you only had the location you've got now, what would you do in your room? And I'll put that over to you, Keith.
So within the parameters of this, am I allowed to use my gardens? Because I play in my
Yeah,
garden.
you can build extensions and everything if you want.
Because I would, ideally, I'd like a Lake Tanganyika setup. I'd like frontosers. I've got my Monica Peru. I'd like to get Rio Nanny Angels and get all them breeding. And then I'd like to have a few planted tanks and rainbow setups. So I'd like, rainbow wise, I'd like maybe some high end Postmonite, the bright red ones. I'd like to get some of them in a planted tank. I'd like to get I've got me Goida Rivers,
Rob's into his rainbows.
I absolutely loved, I just got them on the off chance. And I got talking to a breeder, and the breeder told me these Goida Rivers I've got were shipped over from a breeder who supplied Gary Lang with his. So if anyone's into rainbows and thinks Gary Lang's grace of God, I've got the same strain of Goida Rivers as Gary Lang. So now I don't know whether I can do as well as him with them, but I've got the same.
When you get them breeding, just pop Rob a message.
Well, I've somewhere between 20 and 30 in here, and I like 6-inch fish. So 36-inch fish aren't going in a 5-foot tank, are they? So when I start splitting the colony down, I'll give him a message if he's interested.
Rob's going to Wharf Aquatics. He says they've got the best selection he's ever seen available. And true red rainbows.
I don't know what it is about rainbows, but as soon as I had praycocks and I was trying to breed them in my old tank, everyone told me it was dead easy to breed. And wasn't having any luck with them. I was thinking, what's going on here? And then someone said to me, put a meat breeding mop in.
They're an egg
Spawning
layer
mop
on.
in. What's that?
They're an egg layer in a spawning mop.
Just put a spawning mop in, and then a week later, took it out, put it in the tank. There was an absolutely massive cloud of fry, but the fry are absolutely tiny. So they were in. I realised after I'd done it, every morning I had a massive Amazon sword. It was like 40 inches, like 40 centimeters tall, and there was just tons of little like eyelashes in the Amazon sword. They were tiny fry. So I
How'd you get
realised I
them
was
to?
breeding.
How'd you get them to the point where they're taking brine, baby brine? Then do you have to feed them like infusoria and stuff? Liquid,
Um,
liquid frying.
I was I've got that, the shrimp food. You sent me the baby shrimp food.
Yeah,
I've been putting
Piku.
that in the shrimp tanks, and then I was knocking some of that in, and I was mixing it up with, like I'd give a feed of that, and then I'd give a feed of Hikari first bites. Everyone was saying that's too big for them, but they were taking it, so I was doing that, and then after about a week, I started feeding microworms, and
So
then
would you knock your fish room down and make it bigger?
oh yeah, if money wasn't an object, I'd have Joey Mullins fish room, like in my back garden. You know, with the 2,000 gallon pond. I'd have that. Um, I'd, I'd fill it with shrimp, I think. Breed them all out.
Have
But
a 2,000 gallon Carradina pond,
yeah, that'd be amazing. That and
a
just
mixed
rainbow.
tank.
Yeah, but I'm after Talikawa as well, so I can get some of them. Hopefully, if the guy's still breeding, I want to grow them out. Get this tank set up. Get rid of the rainbows. The shrimp. Get the rainbows in there, and then that's that done. So I'd like to do that. Get some Talikawa. But I'd like to plant a tank for all these, and then outside I'd like to set up a polytunnel. Could maybe put the shrimp in that, couldn't I? Ideally, if
You
it's
might
where the
need
Neil
to just put like a, mind you, they'll manage really cold Neos will. You know,
Yeah,
I've heard of them managing really cold, but if you put like a space heater in, not a space
yeah,
heater, you know, like a frost heater,
yeah.
frost type heater, just to keep the frost off it, I reckon you'd be okay.
I'd be
Rob
flying
says
there,
that
wouldn't
there's a species of baby brine that are super small.
I? Right. Well, I need to know what they are so I can get them for me breeding projects. Because what I'd like to do, I know we're supposed to be talking about ideal, but I'd like to have a tank so I can constantly drop them off in one of my rainbow tanks, and then throw it in the tank, grow them out, and then I've constantly got a breeding project going on. Then
-25 shrimp have survived in. John's
yeah,
saying that he's got a tank full of Otto Sinclair's babies. I'd love some Otto Sinclair's Kakima, you know, the zebra ones. Um,
yeah.
and Rob put my yeah. Apparently, they're tough to breed. I've heard that, John, which is good. Have you managed to sort of grow them on then? I am
It
for an
takes
answer.
about 45 seconds. But
Yeah, Rob saying you want of a small handful of bread. Run out of juice, man. Small handful of people who've successfully bred Ottos.
yeah, and I'd
So
like to get all my plants growing outside as well. I'd like to get them all growing immersed outside, and then figure out how to set up
it's
columns.
the
So
same.
yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be hard, would it, if set up a website or something, or stick them on YouTube? Not YouTube. That's what we're on now. On
Facebook,
eBay,
Facebook, and
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm honest, I've got them, and then I'm reluctant to sell them because I want to play with them. So I'm like, I'm kind of, if you want them, but I'm not like buy them.
completely by accident. Low pH and TDS that spawned them. Pandagara are a nice fish to own. Yeah, Rob's got some Pandagaras, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I love Rob's little setups. Well, they're not little, are they? But
got tanks
I mean,
everywhere.
the smaller tanks than I've got generally. That's what I mean by little.
He's
They're not-
he's currently in the process of talking about a 5 by 12 by 12. So not very tall or wide, but 5 foot long for
yeah,
something
that's
he's
a good idea. Though.
planning
See,
on working.
my tank is too small for plants, really. You know, like stems and conjugators and stuff. It's not tall enough, so like I'd like to have a 30-inch tank. So when my crenum does move in, it's got a mansion to live in rather than a puddle.
You
Because
need really long pincers for that one.
yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get in there to get it to stick to the floor, but I'd like a really tall one, and then I could put like a good few. I was reading before, and I reckon you need 10 centimeters of substrate for a crenum natans to do well, and
Wow.
like put out tops.
Although
I don't think
to be honest, if you sloped it back,
that's a good idea. That actually.
you could still have it quite visible, but you're creating that level of depth and plant it further back in the tank, and then you'd probably get your 10. I used
I'm just going
20,
to save timer, Glenn, while we're here. It's going to go off in a minute, isn't it? So
27 litres of soil in a 90-litre tank I used.
wow.
Was it 27? I'd have to watch the video back, but it was loads. I reckon I used maybe two, maybe coming up to 3 full bags of tropical soil.
You did.
And it's just me being a dickhead, to be honest, because what I should have done was I should have bagged it out with gravel and then built the slope how I wanted it. But I did it all in soil. I did it in rock and soil because I wanted to create terraces.
Oh, terraces, yeah. See, I see all that terrace stuff. I see that as like Oliver Knott stuff. Like Oliver Knott's been to Japan, hasn't he? And he studied like the old Takashi Amano style of aquascaping. So they like to get in cardboard and setting out stand areas and then aqua soil and terracing.
I actually did it with rock. So I actually laid the rock down, put something behind it, laid other rocks down, put something behind it, and then filled them all up so the tank actually slopes. And it's quite hard to, when you look at a picture of the front of the tank, it doesn't look as steep as it does. But if you look at the side of the tank, it's 45 degrees.
Yeah.
It's mad. And the reason I started with rock on the bottom was because when I did my very first scape, I hadn't supported stuff properly, and I got everything lovely where I wanted it, filled up with water and everything sunk as the soil moved. Yeah.
Well,
and it was like our
one of the
bugger
selling points for me with that's one of the reasons why I like dirt, because with like the likes of the Miracle Grow organic or just normal like organic topsoil, it's because when I was looking at aqua soil, it was like £5 a litre, and I'm thinking I'm not paying £5 a litre when compost or these organic potting soils are 50p a litre. I'm not paying 10 times as much.
We'll talk about what we spoke about with ideas for the next one, and afterwards talking about soil.
Yeah, well,
we'll talk about that after.
So that's like my goal. That's where I'd like if money wasn't an object, that's where I'd have to have like probably have Frontosa as a display tank in the house, and then in the fish room to play with, I'd have planted tanks with my rainbows in. But I'd like to have a few breeding projects with my rainbows and swap them about and get to know other.
I'd love another reef tank, but I just wouldn't have the time for it.
If I had a reef tank, I've got 300 yards that way to the River Mersey. So the only stipulation I'd have, if I could have any tank I wanted, was it would draw the water in. You'd draw the water in from the river and pump it back out to the river. So we didn't have to do water changes.
You wouldn't want water out of that, mate.
It's flying the River Mersey now.
So okay, can I do my bit then? If money won't, mine's really simple.
Go on then.
So for me, if money wasn't an object and I'd only got the footprint that I've got, I can't really build up, just because of the layout of the property. John's been here, so he knows what I mean. I might be able to put another floor on this, but unlikely. So I think for me, what I'd probably do if I had to use the footprint that I've got is at the moment this is sort of stock and shrimp room. And a bit of packing, although I've got packing all over the place and I've got some stock up in the loft and I've got stock everywhere. So I think for me, build a building out the back in the back garden, nice and secure, brick built, alarmed up, and actually use that as my stock. So all my stock and everything would be in there. And then this room would become the room for my animals. So I instead of using one side of the room, I'd use all sides of the room. I'd probably still keep the sink for doing obviously stuff that I do. But where at the moment I've got two 1200 racks down this way that I've got stock on, and I've got stock hanging all on the walls on hangers. I've rammed it. It's like an old sweet shop. But
Open
I
all
think
hours.
I think that's what I'd do. I'd if money wasn't an object, I'd build a building in the back garden, and that would be all my stock and shipping and packing and everything, you know. So I'd sort of design that and build that in such a way, and then this would have more stuff in it. So probably more tanks, but who knows? I'd love a really big, massive frog tank, with a group of golden poison dart frogs, terribilis, but they need a lot of room. So you're looking 4 foot plus tall, deep. So 4 foot, 4 foot long. You're probably looking 60 high, 45 back, and there's no chance in here. Not a chance. I could probably get it where those frogs are if I didn't have them frogs, but it's not happening. I'm not having any more frogs. Once I've got the frogs in there, that's my frogs, and their longevity is long. They live for 20, 30 years. You can keep them alive for 20, 30 years. So it's I was watching some guy and he'd got a YouTube. I think it was Canadian, and he'd got a Tinctorius azuris, and he had it when he was a kid, and the guy's mid to late 30s, I think, and he had it sort of as a teenager. He's had it over 25 years. Same frog.
Yeah.
so I'm having frogs that are going to. I'm not having frogs that are going to outlive me, man. Not a chance.
No, that was one of the things that drew me to Frontosa, is the fact that they live so long. I thought
I've mentioned this to Rob. I've got 2 kissing gouramis, both male. One definitely outcompetes the other because he's twice the size of him, and they're both the same size, and he bullies him at feed time and stuff. But the ones are, he's got to be the size of my hand, and I'm convinced we've had that 9 years or more. And when I read up on them, they said that they live for about 8 years, but I'm sure I've had this 9 years plus.
Yeah.
My missus hates it because it's a bully. She keeps wanting to drop kick it down the garden like.
Just pull it out the tank and just kick it out the house.
Drop kick it, yeah, because he's a bully. But they're your animals, aren't they? You have to look after them. So can we take I'm literally going to run in the house. I don't know if you want to answer some questions. I'm going to run in the house and get some juice because I'm sucking air at the moment. I'll be a minute. I'll put myself on mute in case anyone speaks to me in the house.
Go. Can we get, it says on the screen we've only got 2 likes. Can we get some likes? We'll push the algorithm out. Has anyone got questions for me? It takes about 45 seconds, I think, to the what it usually does on my live streams. The questions to come through. Okay, Glenn's thanks. I think you should walk around them tanks, shows what's in them. There he is.
I'm back. I even put my sign on the door that somebody got me for my birthday. Little plastic sign. My daughter got it, but it was a bit belated because she'd ordered it off eBay and it come about 3 weeks later. Like, so, okay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I'd do. I think I'd have this as my animal room and nothing else, and then all my packing and everything would be out in the garden. My packing, all my materials, everything would be out in the garden. I'd probably have my laptop in there, printer, everything. And give her the house back.
Would you like to work on having your own lines and stuff like that?
Oh, I would, but I think the lines would outlive me. To get your own genetic line, you need loads more education and time than I've got. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you're probably talking it's people's lifetimes work. The likes of Dean and Calvin Wong, to get a line anywhere near where you want it, they're probably talking 7-10 years. Rob will probably be able to answer me that better than me. You probably look at, because although you can get the generational stuff, you have to sort of cross back to get the genetic traits that you want. So it's I'm learning this. There's no handbook and no one will teach you.
No. Well, that's how they make the money, isn't it? So they're not going to share the money. 10 years.
Yeah. Just try. I think trial and error. I mean, you might have someone that will take you under the wing and give you some, ideas. I think, if I'm honest, I think a lot of the people that sell, they probably buy a lot of the stuff in and then breed from that. That's probably already genetically sound.
Yeah. Still hard work, though, isn't it, to keep the lines pure. All my lights are starting to go off now.
Yeah. Massive bottle of juice. Make my own. I'm one of them people that don't like paying other people loads of money for stuff stuff that they'll do. So that bottle of juice to buy in a shop would be 20 quid, and it probably costs me 2 quid to make it.
Yeah. We've got a lot in work who makes it all. I don't buy it often.
Yeah, I think Rob's right. 10 years, that's what it took. Took some lines, and then Rob's put, it's not in Asia. It's not shrimp keeping. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's an art that, a lot of these people that line breed and create strains or genetic hybrids and stabilize those hybrids. It's passion. They live, breathe, eat shit, shrimp. You know.
Well, that's the thing. Like it fascinates me the culture over like the likes of Japan, the way they work stuff. Obviously, I've studied bonsai and goldfish breeding, and like I've got my head around aquascaping a bit. Not like their philosophy on everything's fascinating compared to ours. Everything in the West now, want it now. Whereas they want to commit their whole life to something and spend the whole life watching something progress.
Well, look at Takashi Umano as an example.
Yeah.
Look what he created. Some of them bonsai masters.
Yeah.
You know, it's in Asia. It is like you're right. It's a lifetime commitment. It's an art
Yeah,
form. You
I
know
think that's
what they've got that we don't is they've got there's a bigger market and there's competition there. Let's see if it'll turn on. Alexa, turn on Spider Light.
Sorry, I didn't find a group or device named Spiderlight.
quite funny.
Alexa, switch on spiders.
Okay,
Good old technology, eh?
Alexa, switch off dehumidifier.
okay,
It's the ones at the back that I'm more worried about going off, and these are starting to dim down for night time.
Rob said before he's threatening to get a tripod and come on with us.
Yeah, he left his tripod at Daniel's farm, I think. Last
Yeah.
time he was up there. Okay, last subjects, and then we'll sort of throw it open to you guys.
Gone off plans. Oh, your lights have gone off. Dramatic
Alexa,
pause.
Alexa, switch on left socket.
okay,
Alexa, switch on right socket.
okay.
Good effort. So do you want me to go first with these, the plans for the channel?
Yeah, you can do.
So,
And talk about your trials and tribulations, and
what do you mean?
have a whinge about how difficult it is. If you want.
Well, to be honest with me, like it can be frustrating at times, can't it? When you're like, when you spend hours making a video and like, obviously, all the top YouTubers, they get like this massive, like they'll post a video, won't they? And they'll get like loads and loads of impressions straight away. I was watching one of those people who teaches you how to do your stuff, and like like when he was showing his stats, he got millions of impressions straight away. And I get like on some videos, I'll get like 18 in the first hour, and then they're like,
So what an impression is, guys. It's how many people your video's been put in front of.
yeah. So when you see our videos come up and you click on it, that's an impression, and then we've got to click through off that. And then these big YouTubers are telling us that we get the same amount of potential. It's just that we're crap. Well, like when we get like
We
18 impressions
probably are.
and they get
I'm crap.
millions. Yeah, well, we're getting better, aren't we, Glenn? Well, I like to think I'm getting better. Like, I hope you think you're getting better as well. Like,
It's a
the
massive
amount of
learning curve.
oh, it is. It's massive. And like I said to you, like YouTube, like they tell you just pick up your phone, start recording, press record, and all that, and you'll get there. And then like, so you start it all, and then right, you need 1,000 subs, and you need 4,000 hours of watch time. Now the good thing in the last 2 years since I started is a lot of the stuff is a lot of the stuff that is available now to us as smaller content creators. It wasn't available until you got monetized, like the likes of going live on mobiles and stuff. Like you needed loads of subs to be able to do that. Well, lives build your watch hours and it puts you in front of your audience. So you can have a back and forth with people who are watching you, who like the people who are push like supporting your channel are actually here, and you don't have to wait days for feedback. And they might be busy in work, so they don't catch your video, so you never get any feedback. So, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things I like about live. As soon as I could go live, I went live that day. I done a test live stream, and it just changed YouTube for me.
Yeah.
Just being able to speak to people like who genuinely want to watch what you're doing. It's like it's a game changer, isn't it? So, well, like,
Do,
that was-
do you find that you spend hours and hours and hours on a video and you think it's absolutely brilliant?
Yeah.
And the one that you thought was going to fly doesn't. And one that you've just threw together in a few minutes, or you put together really quick. Seems to do really well.
Yeah. That's that's the golden, like that's the biggest chestnut with YouTube. It's like I spent months learning editing and stuff like that, and like trial and error, putting videos out and watching how people responded to them, and I ended up just like watching hours and hours of how to make content, and I started making videos and I put them out, and honest to God, Glenn, this is the God's honest truth. I was making videos, editing them, like plugging all my mic in, setting it all, spending ages setting everything up. I was sitting down, like researching the title, what would get the best clicks, and writing word for word my description, knowing that the algorithm would find them words and push it. And I'd release it and I'd get like 50 views. And then one day I was like, I've been busy in work all week. I need to make a filler video. I need to make something that is interesting, but I haven't got the time to be putting up like max effort into this video. So it just came out and was like, what can I talk about? And I was like, oh, floating plants, the wall start hack everyone can use in every tank. And I just pressed record, like literally sat on the floor here for 5 minutes talking about floating plants. Posted it, got 1,500 views within like a couple of hours. By the next morning, I had another 1,500 views. And it's about 6,500 views now. And I'm like, all the efforts I put into some of these videos. And this video that literally I recorded it and just chopped a couple of edit, like, like when you go and you pause. Because it's not natural
Yeah,
talking in front of the camera. I don't care what anyone says. It just never will be for me. Although I'm getting better at it. Like, you don't feel like you can pause. Like in a natural conversation, you can pause, which is why it's good to have two people on a live stream because you can naturally pause and the conversation will flow naturally. Whereas when you're
yeah,
recording or you go live on your own, you can't stop talking because of the way YouTube works. People, your brain, as soon as someone stops talking, or as soon as they start talking about something you don't want them to, your brain just says, "I wonder what's going on with my phone. I'll just flick off this
see,
live and I'll check." And then you go down a wormhole
I
and you've lost the view.
I pause when I'm recording, so not
Yeah,
videos, not lives. But I I I used to teach, and a lot of my training sessions were recorded, and I was never like that. And I'm convinced it's my meds,
yeah,
but I've started trying to sort of clip the pauses out as
yeah,
long as the sort of the scene doesn't change too much because I can notice them a lot.
yeah.
It, like
Yeah.
you know.
It's,
But yeah,
there's a
it's
few things I say. There's a few things I say constantly in my videos, and it drives me mad.
yeah.
But
I say so, and so the idea of this is I
yeah,
do that load. So sorry, interrupted you mad there. So come on then, channel plan. So what's your plan for the channel your channel moving forward?
um, so I want to I want to change all the livery of the channel. Like I'm thinking of taking the trim off the logo, changing what the logo looks like because I started out, and I've told you this a couple of times. I started out thinking I was going to do like breeding videos and like how to set up baby brine shrimp, and I started posting all this stuff, and no one was watching it. And the second I started talking about plants, like everyone just was like, "Keith's the plant guy," and come on my live and talk about plants, Keith, and what did they do with this plant, Keith, and like everything. Just so I'm kind of like, well, okay, YouTube kind of sees me as the plant guy, and I enjoy plants, so that's like if that's like my niche, then I want to move my channel to sit in my niche and start making videos about that type of content. If that's what people are responded to with me, then obviously that's my niche, and I need to build my channel around, I mean, videos around that. So that's
Are you
what
still
I'd like
are
to
you
do.
still going to push it down that route then as plants?
Um, yeah, but like I want it to be unique, like because everyone's a wannabe aquascaper, aren't they? Everyone wants to be the next Takashi Omano, and basically they're just setting Omano tanks up, and as far as I'm concerned, a lot of them are doing it wrong because they don't understand what Takashi Omano was doing. Like, they don't understand he was a photographer and he studied Japanese gardening and was setting his tanks out with like bonsai techniques and Japanese gardening techniques in mind. So they're trying to do these aquascaping techniques. And like for the arguments of like an example, right? So like an Iwagumi scape, to me that literally translates to the same philosophy into bonsai as a literate style because it's just abstract. There's nothing in the wild like it. So like
Yeah.
Armano's idea was it's an abstract landscape. It's a mountain range kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everyone does these Iwagumi types scapes,
But
but
it's not natural.
all the rocks right next to the glass and all the rocks right up to the top of the water.
And
And
house.
I'm like, do you not understand that? Like the whole concept is he's not playing with the rocks. He's playing with the negative space around it. It's all about in bonsai. They talk about the
Golden ratio.
space, the space where the birds fly. You know, like
Yeah.
between the branches, you set the branches out for negative space because that makes your bonsai tree look completely. It looks like a work of art in that.
Yeah.
That's the sky. That's where the birds fly. And if you don't do that, it all goes like it doesn't look appealing to the eye. And that, to me, that's what Takashi Amano is playing with. He's playing with the negative space next to escape. And now I've said that, if you go back and look at one of his Iwagumi, you're like, oh, all George Farmer knows what he's doing with that. Like when you look at George Farmer's, there's loads of negative space around it. And there's another, see, that's Rob's onto it. It's making it flow right to the key, and that's what Armano does in with his, playing with negative space, stuff like that. And there's one, people call it the jungle tank, and I don't. So and Takashi Armano doesn't. He calls it the riverbed. And when you look at it, it's like beautifully trimmed, like stem plant, like bushes basically. But there's tons of negative space in it, and the whole power in the scape comes from this like cavern of negative space in the middle. It makes
Yeah.
like when you look, your eyes see the negative space and it draws you down. And then there's all rocks and
Yeah.
leaf litter at the bottom, kind of thing. And it draws, and you never really look at your eyes are dying to look at the plants, but this negative space pulls your eyes everywhere apart from the plants. So your
I was
eyes are
looking at
constantly looking
big
everywhere
black.
else apart from where you
Sorry
want
to
to look.
interrupt. I was looking at it was a huge black water tank with a
Yeah,
load of neons in and various other things. And not a lot of plants. It was all sort of dead leaves and fallen branches. But wow, what an impact them fish had in that environment, man.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Rob's
Absolutely
just hit the nail
unbelievable.
on the head with me there. That riverbed, mimic the riverbed type thing. That's something I wanted to do with this tank was kind of put big plants at the back, so they're all leaning forward, and then I'd have me rainbows to the front, so it looks like there's a movement. But this tank was Blackwater, and I only watched one of my videos from like 12 months ago when I had COVID. And this was a Blackwater tank, and I was looking at it and I'm thinking, have I never been able to grow crypts like that since? Sphagnum moss peat in the bottom, or Irish moss peat, the one that's sustainably sourced. I
Yeah.
just got I got a couple of handfuls of that, put it in, capped it with about a half-inch of sand, just planted a load of crypts in it, and didn't think nothing of it. Put some driftwood and pointing this way, a couple of branches, so it was kind of like I like everyone gets bogwood and stuff like that, don't they? And they get like that. I don't like that. I like the manzanita, like fine tertiary pieces of like twiggery and stuff. I know it falls apart quite quick, but while it's there, it looks amazing. I love it. So it's kind of moving through the tank, and I set it all up, and I thought this looked phenomenal. I was looking at the picture of it. There's one of my wabba mustard there. Like, I need to show people because, like I would say to people, I've got wabba mustard, and no one believes me. So Where is he? What's he?
Yeah, Karen's just said, and she's right. She
Yeah.
said you have to have an eye for it too. Rob's got it.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen some that are so bad, just not aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, me too, Kaz. And I mean, the shameful thing is, people are sort of posting pics of them, and they think it's the best thing since sliced bread, and it's pants.
Yeah.
But how do you destroy someone's dream? Because what's beautiful to you is not necessarily beautiful to me.
Yeah, but if you want to be an aquascaper, a professional aquascaper, then it's got to be beautiful to other people.
To everybody.
Whereas with my tanks, I just want it to look nice for me and whoever's watching my channel to be able to say, hey, that's a nice tank. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm a professional aquascaper. I'll do aquascaping tutorials in your shop for like 500 quid an hour or whatever they charge. I know bonsai artists, if you hire a bonsai artist, they charge about 300 quid a day. So I'm sure, and I'm assuming aquascapers charge the same to come in there. But a lot of it's them coming out to your house, isn't it? And aquascaping your tank and then maintaining it and stuff like that. There's a lot of that goes on.
Their maintenance stuff, and I put stuff in like funeral parlors and stuff like that. We used to when I used to work in the industry, we used to look after a marine tank that was in like the waiting area of a very salubrious part of Sutton Coalfield, where there was dope, but it was a funeral directors. It was the waiting area theirs, and it was a proper reef tank, and we used to go and maintain it, take the water with us and everything, like to do the water changes a lot. So that was Ian Hazel, the funeral directors was called. So long time ago. I'm
Sounds like you're about to burst into song there, Glenn.
I've been around a long time. I'm just looking at the way the light's catching my cheekbones, and they look quite red in this camera. And with this big old beard, I think I might have a second job at Christmas, like. But I didn't plan on growing this beard. My wife keeps moaning about it, so I won't cut it. As long as she keeps moaning about it, I'm not cutting it. I planned to go. I'd grown it so that when I went to Turkey, I could get it shaped really nice. But I ended up not going to Turkey, and I'm sort of starting to get a bit of a handlebar going, like, and I have got moustache wax as well. So be warned. Cool. Are you going to continue?
Go on, what are you saying, Glenn?
Are you going to continue then to do plants and Wallstad type stuff on the channel then?
Yeah, but I want to go into like a hybrid method, like I say. I want to take it to the next level. I want to do something no one else is doing in the hobby. Do you know what I mean? I want to try something different to what everyone else is doing.
A crossover between the Wallstad method and normal methods, standard methodology.
Yeah, what people are doing now. Like, I know everyone's coming back into the low tech side of the hobby, but like, I want to see like my method. Well, it's not my method. It's there in forums and stuff. It's all using all the same theory as everyone else. So it's not like top secret or anything. But I want to do something that no one else is doing.
Not classic, Karen. Kaz. So you could have your own method then, write a book.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that egotistical to be naming something after myself. Like, it's just part of the hobby to me. It's all, Takashi Amano, Tom Barr, and Diana Warstad. All, they all talked about the planted tank hobby and wrote books and come up with philosophies about it, and they've covered pretty much all the bases. So anything other than that's not like, we've achieved what we need to achieve to keep plants alive, haven't we, at the moment? There's not
and loads. I mean, I don't know if it's my knowledge now, but I couldn't keep plants alive 30 years ago. But I think understanding plants now more, and understanding that most of the things you buy with leaded bunches on have been grown out of water and they need to transition. And I wouldn't have known that, but nobody would have taught me that because they just want to sell you plants.
Yeah.
And you
And then
know,
when
if
you
plants die, you buy some more, and you buy some more, and you buy some more.
have you noticed that on YouTube? It's like what's it called? Like they're all like, well, what's going on with my tank? My tank's not doing well. You need to buy some more plants. You need to buy more plants, put plants in. And it's like, well, actually, what happens if like all the nitrogen's gone out the tank and you're telling them to put more plants in?
Yeah,
If there's no nitrogen in the tank and you're saying put more plants in, like there's there's more plants needing less nitrogen now.
yeah, yeah. It's fine. It's knowing what that source problem is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. And it's not complicated, 90% of the time. But I was watching a YouTuber this morning or this afternoon, and he was having a problem with his tank, and it was just going back to basics, balancing the tank, and his tank was flying. Like so, it's it's just like Bill Shankly said, wasn't it? When when he was talking about Liverpool, when he said to him, "Why are Liverpool so good?" and he said, "Because we're better at the basics than everyone else, and that's it."
Yeah.
And that, like, if you can master the basics, you're flying.
I watched. I'm going to swear. I watched um, a certain person who's massive in the UK, something tanks, and I haven't watched him for ages because basically I thought he was a bit of a dickhead. But I watched one of his videos the other day, and he's come along leaps and bounds, and he's learning from his
Yeah,
mistakes rather than just go, "Oh, we'll throw this in, we'll throw that in, mate, it'll be all right," you know. It's
just
water
water.
free Liverpool kid.
I don't know what that means. Tap water. I'm not on a water meter, if that's what you mean. So I can use as much. I had a guy knock on
Karen's
my door. I had a guy knock on my door one day, mate, and he said, "Do you want a water meter, mate? Your bill will go down." I said, "Mine won't, mate." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I've got about 10 fish tanks and a purified water to clean windows with. There's absolutely no chance. Never chase numbers. No, I will do with like the likes of fertilizer dosing and stuff like that, but
Yeah, see, I I think you get a feel, especially in the shrimp hobby, and Kaz and Rob and probably John will, may agree with this. I think you instinctively know by looking at a tank if there's a problem.
yeah,
I think you know, even to the point where you know when we're cycling a tank, just by looking at that tank, we'll know when that tank's ready. I'd still test it because
yeah,
that's what I've always done, you know, but it's, you know, when a tank's ready. I'm gobsmacked. I've moved about 100 galaxies over the last couple of days, and the
yeah,
tank that I've moved them in, there's a video on it. It's dead shrimp powder I used to cycle it, but it was absolutely heaving with cotton algae,
yeah.
and there's hardly any left. Today, I've moved sort of the bulk of them, you know, probably 80 today. I think I moved 30 yesterday. I moved about 80 today, and they've eaten all the algae, and it was heaving. But just
Yeah.
looking at that tank and the algae, I knew that tank was ready, you know.
Well, that's what if I'm honest, Glenn, like if I set up a tank and cycle it, I'm looking for the cyanobacteria to like explode and then kind of burn off. And if you get a little bit of, say the tank's bare and there's no plants in it and stuff like that, I'll wait for you always get a can't even say it, diatom bloom, don't you? Everything goes
Yeah,
brown. And then
yeah.
once that's gone, you start getting the green algae. You're golden, the cycle's smashed.
The within the shrimp tanks, the di even though a tank cycled, it's not. So there's a massive difference, especially with Carradine. There's a massive difference between cycled and matured.
Yeah,
And a cycled tank means that the processes that are going on work. A
the
matured tank means
basics.
everything's settled down.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's the
know.
thing with the wall start tank. When like you're not running the nitrogen cycle as much, it's more nutrient cycling. So basically, the same processes are going on, but in the soil. When that soil's maturing, when you put it in soil and wet it for the first time, it throws everything out, like
Yeah.
all the nutrients, like just because there's no oxygen in there, and
Bloom. Yeah.
compared to what out, because water limits the amount of oxygen that gets into the soil. So then all of a sudden, all these nutrients get thrown out. For example, I have potassium fly up to like 120 parts per million. And potassium's supposed to be like 10 parts per million. So I had that fly, and it takes about 8 weeks. What's this?
That burn.
Are these then bacterias?
Yeah.
I think I need to play with bacteria in the soil and see what
I've
happens.
done it's scheduled in for quite a while, but I've done probably falls in nicely with channel plans if I can jump in.
Yeah, go on.
So channel plans for me, I already sort of mentioned it's so difficult. I set up the channel as a way of recording, growing, building this room, and that's all I set that up for. And I had a few people following it, so I did a bit more content, and I think people that have watched from the beginning they know that I've got better over time. Where it sort of starts to get difficult is where you got 154 videos and you've got nowhere near getting anything back for it. Now you imagine the work that goes into 154 videos, and yes, some of them are just thrown together, and I'm not going to deny that. What I've started doing more of is I've started putting. So there's two targets you need to hit. You need to hit 1,000 subscribers, and at the moment I think I'm on about 600. So you need to hit 1,000 subs, and it might just be that I'm crap and I'm not entertaining, but I don't want to be entertaining. I don't mind being a bit entertaining, but I want to put content that's valuable. And I think the hard bit, I think if you just kept going over time, you'd hit 1,000 subs. The hard bit is you need to hit 4,000 hours of watch time, and that's 4,000 hours of watch time in a 365-day period. So that 4,000 hours has to be within a year up to current. So you've constantly got to keep pushing stuff out. You guys will probably notice that I've started banging out little midweek videos and lots of shorts and stuff. The shorts really are to try and get subs. That's the whole purpose of me putting out shorts. The 2 videos a week are, if you divide 4,000 by 52 weeks, you need to get a lot of watch hours, and people want to watch. I think Keith mentioned this earlier. We want everything sort of now. It's sort of it's a fast food society. Trying to keep somebody, especially with certain subjects, trying to keep them engaged for 10 minutes is difficult. I've only got to look at my stats. Trying to keep people engaged for 10 minutes is difficult. And if you sort of, go ahead and do the maths yourself. You divide 4,000 divide it by 365, and you need to get that every day. You need to get that amount of watch hours every day. Now I'm hoping, and I think Keith will as well, that what will happen over time as your subs get more and they're getting notifications and they're watching, I'm expecting the watch time to increase as well exponentially. I never started out wanting to do YouTube. It was just never part of my plan. But I do enjoy it. I do want to do it. I want to keep putting out content. It's difficult to come up with new ideas. Bizarrely, one of my most watched videos, not the most watched, one of my most watched videos is me doing shrimp room maintenance. Mad. Absolutely mad. But people watch it, and they watch it for quite a long time, just doing maintenance and vlog. And I think this goes back to what we said earlier. Throwing a video together, sometimes you're like, how's this got more? Is it because you're more natural? I don't know. When you're sort of planning stuff, are you more sort of robotic? I don't know. You guys can probably answer this better than we can. Obviously, we're creating. You guys are consuming it. So
Excuse me.
yeah, I mean, this week's been a bit of a downer, and we've spoke to quite a few people, and everybody who we chat to has said that it's been really weird YouTube this week because we've all lost subscribers. All of us have lost subs, and I haven't gained any at all. And it's mad unusual not to gain one in a week. So mine have actually gone down in the last week. Don't know. Bizarrely, mine went down when I did a paid promotion. So when I put that video out Monday and that Higer had sent me a light, I lost subs. Now I don't know if that's two people from Higer and they weren't very impressed with the video. I don't know. Don't know. How do you know? You don't. So you're sitting there scratching your head, and I say, pretty much everybody I know, it's the beard. Maybe.
I think it's the accent with me.
Pretty much everybody. I mean, we've spoke about it, and other people that we've spoke to have said that it's been similar for them. They've lost subs, but we know that YouTube goes and deletes bot or fake accounts from time to time. So maybe they're having a purge, although why a bot account would subscribe to me, God only knows. But maybe dead accounts or people have deleted their accounts or, for whatever reason. But so I want to, at the moment, I've got stuff out up to the end of July. So that's 2 videos a week, edited and planned in up to the end of July, pretty much. Near, 24th of July, something like that. Because what I'm trying to do is get ahead of myself. So if I do have a bad week, and I do have bad weeks, I'm not panicking trying to get stuff out. So and I'm a planner. I plan stuff. I'm the person who'll sort of really think about what you're doing, and I won't sort of rush in. I do sometimes when I'm buying shrimp stuff, but I don't rush in. I like to plan. So I've actually got stuff out, but I've also got 2 videos that I'm working on consecutively in my phone at the moment, and I'll tell you what one of them is. One of them is Carradina for beginners. The first part of that, I talk about RO systems, and I'm probably going to lose people straight away with that. But how do you do Carradina without RO? It's got to be done, but I'm feeding into it nicely. I think it'll be 2 videos, and I want to do it where it's sort of soil selection, what type of shrimp you're having, setting up a tank, cycling that tank all the way through. So I'm doing Carradina for beginners. It's probably going to be 2 videos, maybe 3, but I want to try and keep it down to 2. And the other one is stuff that I'm doing in the room. So I keep recording little bits of stuff I'm doing in the room, and sometime later and put another clip in. So I keep on top of that. Something that myself and Keith have talked about, and we don't think anyone else has done this, but somebody might watch our video and decide they're going to do it, is doing like a teacher student to each other. So recording me setting up a Wallstad method under tuition from Keith, and Keith setting up a Carradina tank under tuition from me, although he'd probably be better off getting it set up through tuition from Rob. And that's what we've talked about. And then doing our own separate video and then collating it together and doing a big video. So actually putting it together as though we've gone through this process with each other as a big video. So Keith will have his video teaching me, I'll have my video teaching Keith, and then we'll put the collab one together. And that obviously is sort of where I'm going. My most watched videos are setting up the ultimate cherry shrimp tank. The title's the title. It isn't the ultimate, but it's the title. So you're trying to feed to an audience at the end of the day. Selecting shrimp for breeding was big, but strangely, so was my Exoterra Dart Frog tank build, and unboxing rare isopods was big for me as well. So I'm then sort of stuck with, I've got to create shrimp content, I've got to create pod content, and I've got to create frog content and spider content as well. But hopefully, I'm a few weeks away from this, but there's a video coming out that it's called something like The Room We Call the Shrimp Room and the tenacious links that bind it all together. And it's a video about why we keep the stuff we keep and how they all link into each other. Be a good video, that. I'm really looking forward to that one. But it'll probably crash. The one that I think is going to be absolutely brilliant will probably crash.
That's the problem,
many
isn't it,
views.
Glenn? They always say to you, don't make videos that you want to make. Make the videos everyone else wants to see. So we stop making the videos we want to make, but then we don't know what other people want to see because our channels are too small to get the feedback of people to know what they want
Yeah.
to see. So you
Well,
just left.
this is a good opportunity for these guys to tell us what they want to see.
Yeah, like if someone said to me, I just want to see you do Wallstad tanks, and that's it. Like, I know. Do you know what I mean? If someone said to me, keep just set up Wallstad tanks or low-tech tanks or high-tech tanks or bin the planted tanks off, just breed rainbows, and that's all I want to see. At least I'd know. But it's the $1 million question. Because these big YouTubers, they get all these algorithms that tell you everything that your audience is watching right now, every single video on YouTube that your audience is watching. The big YouTubers know what they're watching, they know the exact videos, and they also know what time they're on. Because we don't get none of that. Hey, Adam. All right, mate.
Adam! Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, people probably get fed up of us saying like and subscribe, leave a comment, but the comments are so important to us. You don't understand it, you know, not necessarily for stroking ego, but if you want to stroke it by all means. But the comments are so important because we want feedback from you guys. At the moment, I answer every comment.
Yeah. I'll only answer a comment. Like if it don't answer a comment, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like I don't know how to answer it. It's basically,
I've got to buy Rob a tripod.
Yeah.
Nice to see you on the live together. You know, it's Jack, isn't it? It was, you know.
No, it's Adam.
Was it Adam?
Yeah, but Jack does it as well now.
I thought Adam was something else to do with white goods.
I think that sounds wrong now when you say it like that.
Tell them the comments are really important. Yeah, that's not a bad chat, actually. In your videos, leave a comment because tell us what you think, because that helps us to change and grow. It's a good shout, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like if there's one thing I could ask, like I'd rather people commented what they wanted to see, what board. Like
ask
for me, you know, the one thing I'd love to know. The one thing I'd love to know is at what point your brain gets bored on my video. Like if you're if your brain says I want to check my phone, when that second they got bored and didn't want to watch my video, I'd want to know what that was, and I'd stop doing that every time.
It's normally about 1 minute 30 seconds into 90% of mine.
It's so hard to hook people and then keep them in. But the YouTube algorithm wants you to talk for 10 minutes about the same topic. That's so hard. Like we've gone through tonight, we changed topics so many times on a live. But if you're not making a video on one topic, it's so hard to talk about. Like 3 minutes is great, but then that other 7 minutes you got to fill. Like, and you can see the drop off on your analytics.
I could do 10 minutes on RO.
Yeah.
I could do 10 minutes on RO and why it's so important and go into
Yeah.
the science behind it. But is it going to bore the shit out of somebody?
Yeah. I mean, I'm into RO, but like I've got qualifications in purifying water, but I don't want to listen to someone talk about RO for 10 minutes.
So Q&A then,
Yeah, let's do some Q&A.
over to you guys. I can understand why Jeff's got a magnifying glass, you know.
See, Adam knows exactly. Like, people just want instant gratification from your content now, and when you're on a journey setting up tanks and, you know, recording what you're doing, in our hobby, you'd have to go out and spend a ton to constantly give people new stuff to watch. And it's just not sustainable for anyone unless you like on mega money.
I'll read a couple of these. I know you can read, but Vern, RO learners won't get sick of it because they'll be interested in it. I'm pretty sure I've done I'm sure I've done a video of me changing the RO filters. I'm pretty sure I've done a video of it in the past, and I definitely did the video, but I threw my back. That was the last time I really hurt my back, and it was literally bending down to screw up a 10-inch RO filter. Karen says it shouldn't bore someone who needs to swap their RO. This isn't about watching you guys for me. It also helping me interact and keeps my mental health at bay. That's nice to know. On the GB Facebook page, there are often questions about water parameters. I enjoy making videos, although shorts do better. The problem is, I don't know if anyone can quote me the figures with shorts. At the moment, I'm using shorts. Literally, I mean, people want a quick snack, you know. I'm literally using shorts to try and get subs, and they work to a degree. I think you need something like 3 million. If you're not hitting the 4,000 hours, I think you need something like 3 or 4 million.
That's 10.
Sure.
Sure, it's 10 million.
10 million. 10
Sure,
million
I
short
don't even
views.
look at it because, like, it's
10
impossible.
million. I'll share the live views. I could talk RO all night, mate. It's like a science. Yeah, Rob can.
Yeah.
Try and get more Q&A going. So I'm going to throw a question out to the people on here then. I'm going to be selfish here. From my channel, what would you guys like to see new, or what would you guys like to see more of?
I want to see more beard.
It ain't getting cut until she stops moaning about it. So I might look, if any of you are old enough to remember ZZ Top.
Like,
Keith's not old enough to remember ZZ Top. There were some American rockers that had like proper hillbilly beards down here, big long beards, like throwing them over the shoulders and stuff. I'll be there, man. I'm telling you, if you don't stop moaning about it, I'll cut it when I want to cut it.
That's the million. I bet you no one answers you, Glenn.
Vape tricks. I can't do no vape tricks. I've got a maintenance video coming up, and I'm doing. I think it's called Mega Maintenance Marathon, and it's probably shot over weeks. To be honest, just clips that I threw together.
That's what I need to do. I think I need to start doing that.
That's a good point that Vern's put on. If you're getting new viewers, then everything is new to them. Yeah. Unfortunately, you might need to do recaps. So videos that you've done in the past, you might still need to do them again. So I'm going to first. Keith knows I've been doing this, right? I put the same video out short. I put the same video out twice, but I released it at UK time where I'd normally release, and then I released it at US time where I'd normally release, and the one released at US time got double the views.
Yeah. At US
And
time.
I'm trying something at the moment with different tracks on the same short. So I've got it uploaded 3 times, and I've got a different track on each one. Everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because I used a track that I didn't know about, and the track was, of course, Glenn, not a topper, ZZ Top. The give me all your loving. No, Sharp Dressed Man was the one I'm thinking of. The song. Yeah, some people were commenting on my video about a game, and the track I'd used was from some mad geeky game, like digital game, online game, and that was the track I used, and I didn't even know. I typed in a search word, and it come up with something, and I was flicking through the tracks. I thought, I like the sound of that. It fits well with the video, and I put it on. It was to do with some mad like Dungeons and Dragons type game thing, but I've got loads of people commenting on it, loads. About this game that I had no idea what the game was. Weekly maintenance videos would be nice. I do like the vlog style one. I learn more off these types of videos on here than a book or manual. If you get new viewers, beard meat shrimp. So I don't know. Does anyone? I mean, people watch YouTube. I actually watch Beard Meats Food. I'm gonna say this. A guy called Adam I think he's from Sheffield or Leeds, and he's got a massive beard, and he's like your sort of Bill Keith, but he goes all over the world eating these monster food challenges, and this guy can eat 7-8 pounds of food in a sitting in 30 minutes.
I've got a mate like that.
He's got hollow legs, man. I'm telling you, I couldn't even eat what's on his fork, and I'd be full. But
My mate's the only guy I know who can get banned from all you can eat Chinese buffets.
So Red Lasers said, I think it's difficult to get Q&A going. Most people are looking to be entertained, passive viewing. US time always does better. Big country obviously equals more eyes on YouTube. True. Yeah, it's funny having Fortnite kids join in the community section. Me too. I'm in Canada, so Red's in Canada. Difficult to get my shorts outside of his country. You've got some great helpers here, Kaz, Rob, et al. I'm sure they won't be too put off if you're dealing with absolute basics, and would probably develop debate as they may have conflicting ideas. You're not wrong, Vern. Kaz has commented on a couple of my videos recently that were sort of back to basics. I think one of them was about using hydrogen peroxide, and it was, I think she commented, great, it was a short video, but great video for newcomers. Because at the end of the day, who did you learn off, and who did Rob learn off, and who did Keith learn off? And apart from sticking your head in a book, we learn off each other. And question: other than Neo Caridina and Caridina, what are your favourite shrimp? A bowl of them wrapped up in Mary sauce. What's it called?
Sauce.
Yeah, the ocean sauce or whatever. I absolutely love. There's a marine shrimp. I think it might be called an orchid shrimp, and they're like polka dot coloured. Got a feeling it's called an orchid shrimp, but they're also marine shrimp that carry around, might be a crab actually, that carry around little tiny anemones. So if anyone comes by them, they sort of sting them with the anemone.
Pom-pom crabs.
Pom-pom crabs.
Tell you what my favourite shrimp is.
I think they're called orchid shrimp. I'm not 100%, but I've got a feeling they're called orchid.
My favourite shrimp, apart from Caridina and Neo Caridina, in fact, it might run sexy shrimp, Mediterranean shrimp. But my favorite, it might even be for me, it might even be more of a favorite than Carabina, Neo Carabina, and that pistol shrimp, and the
Pistol.
relationship they have with Watchman gobies. I used to have them in this tank actually. I had like a stand substrate with live rock, and the pistol shrimp just dug under the rock structure, and it was just like a little bulldozer all day. It just come out with mounds of like
Oh yeah. It's
sand.
got like a symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
But they're blind, aren't they? So you just see this crystal shrimp, this
Five.
pistol shrimp with it having an antenna on this Watchman goby, and this Watchman goby would sit there with a gob on, like just this miserable face. Look like my ex-wife, just watching. Like when I was
So
doing the housework, my wife was watching me.
there are other obviously other freshwater shrimp in the hobby. I'm not whisker shrimp. I'm not a fan of. They can be quite nasty, but I'm not. I'm not. Excuse the pun. I'm not a fan of the fan shrimp either. You know, like the bamboo shrimp and stuff, and the giant African whatever vampire shrimp I think it's called. Just simply because they're specialist, and you need. I personally don't think we can give them the environment that they need. Yeah,
I
you
agree
know,
with you.
the average aquarist can't give them the environment that they need. You know, there's proper like liquid feeds to feed them, and you know, is there enough in the water? How long do they last in an aquarium? And I imagine 99% of them are wild caught.
That's there's some fish, and I've said this on a lot of my videos and on live streams and stuff. I believe their territory extends well out of the tank, and when you go and stand in their territory, it just stresses them, and they'll never
Yeah,
do well because you're in their territory. And you like for me, like it's just my opinion, and like you said, you know your tank over time. You get a feeling for when your tank's cycled, when it's matured and stuff like that. And for me, when you go and stand in these territories of these fish, they just never do well, and they just sit there watching you, and they're just like in a level of stress. Like for me, it was my front hose when they were small. They had these natural behaviours, and they used to swim around the tank. They used to like pick at the substrate. Once they got a certain size, they just sit in the furthest corner away from me, watching me, and they just
Adam
always seem on pins.
Adams just says that his bamboo is had him a year and a half. They're doing great. Are you the average aquarist though? You know how many? Mind you, I could say that of Caradina. Shops are selling crystal shrimp to people in tap water. You could say that about anything, really. I couldn't. You know what I mean?
That's Rob's putting interesting comments up there. See, these are the things. Like this is what I love about YouTube. Is like you get to know other experienced fish keepers on here, and there's people who like probably done one day in the hobby that have experienced something you haven't with their first tank on their first day. So doesn't matter how long you've been in the hobby, everyone's got these. Like I used to talk about it all the time in first few videos. Like they got these nuggets of gold, and you could be in the hobby 30 years, and this new guy could say, "Well, have you tried this? Because I found this works."
Well, Adam's probably just said that. I've had an opinion. I've never kept them. I've had an opinion on fan shrimp,
Yeah,
giant African fan shrimp, and stuff like that. I know people who have and haven't done very well with them, but they haven't done very well with fish. Do you know what I mean? So I've automatically made this assumption that they don't live long in an aquarium. Adam's had his for 18 months, but I've never
yeah.
kept them. It's an opinion, you know.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You always find, and as well, like we'll buy something, and like I'll buy something, I put it in my tank once, and like for example, a plant, I might buy one plant and it might crop out, and I go, well, I can't keep that in my tank. Whereas, like, there's a few plants I've bought quite a few of and moved them around in different tanks. We were having a laugh about Adam the other night with his limnophilia. Now, I had limnophilia in this tank. This tank I bought, I said it in the video before, I think it was. I got 5 stems and I put each stem in a different tank. Now, in 3 of the tanks, it crapped out straight away. It just like stripped, died.
One tank
So-
blew.
And this tank, it just sat there. And then this tank, there's like the bit in the corner there. It just sat there for about 6 months, maybe. But it took off in this tank. I took a stem off. I took the trimmings, put them in that, and half of them are the trimmings, but the other half blew up. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but I got this instantly. I thought, has that done well because there's more of that plant in there?
I'm
Does
gonna
that make
I'm gonna put
sense?
a question to the Caradina keepers.
My tank isn't fully set up.
I'm gonna put a question to the Caradina keepers, and I don't know if this is just an idea that I've got. When you buy in new shrimp, do you think shrimp that are born in your tanks do better than shrimp that you buy and put in your tanks?
Taiwan lily. I've got it in this tank and it's just melted slowly.
I'm gonna get up and walk around a bit.
Shows your tanks. Shows your tanks. Hit the like button if he should show us his pot shrimp. Instead of liking.
There you go. I'm hitting the button and it's not turning. I'm hitting again. It's going bang bang backwards and forwards. There you go. Oh, I know what it's doing.
Look at them.
I've done a little video on that oxidizer. Kaz is going to cry now. The reason I'm on a gimbal, and the reason it's so this was the tank I emptied today, but there's hundreds and hundreds of babies in it and snails. There's a couple of adults still in there, but there's hundreds just low grade adults, but there's hundreds and hundreds of babies in there. That's my mixed tank. There's hundreds and hundreds of babies in there, so I'm just going to leave it as a grow out tank.
Is that, you know, them mixed tanks, are they the same as a Michelin tank or is that different?
Yeah. So this is my so this answers something for you, Keith, actually.
Yeah.
That's that gravel.
What's that?
Fluorite black. And you see how green that is?
Yeah.
No ferts, no soil, hardly any shrimp. And it grows like that. This is
Flying,
that's the fluorite sand.
Yeah.
But it's a gravel. And it grows really well.
Adam's
And
saying
then
he also thinks, Glenn,
I've got a bit of algae in this one.
Glenn,
Low down tanks. I still not worked out what that plant is.
that's your plant, that.
And
Should-
then I don't think you'll see them, but this was
You should start selling that. You should start propagating that plant and call it cryptocrinine. I can't even say it. Glennii, you should call it. Start selling it.
that's all the algae that's left, and this tank was heaving with it.
Adam, if Rob wants to
I love this tank. Trying to zoom out. And then I've got some plants coming for this, but I've changed it round a little bit. Got some more plants coming for that, but I've changed it round a little bit. And then if we turn around here, this is there's a video on this. I think it's this week. Let me see if I can it's here somewhere. There it is. I think that's Sunday's vid. I've been messing around, putting air plants in stuff. And
Ryan Adams just posted in the chat. He wants us to jump on his live stream one time.
yeah, happy to do that. Tell you what I've noticed, I changed my Neos off gravel to volcanic. They're much more active and breeding better, especially the jades. Is that the JBL volcanic stuff, Karen?
Do you know where a good place to get these soils is K's and Bonsai? You can get Akadama, you can get Lava Rock in different grain sizes if anyone's
I think
interested in them.
it's probably cheaper to buy just Temu stuff. Rob tried the Rob set up a tank for
I've got a question for Rob, by the way.
Sulawesi Caradina.
They salt water.
No, they're hard water.
Hard water, that's it. I knew they were.
High pH, hard water. They're difficult to get here because they don't travel well, and they come from they're found in like is it Borneo, Sulawesi, or is it like the Mabuna stuff? I'm not sure. Don't know where they come from.
Yeah,
I've never looked into them, but they're really nice. I know somebody in.
my beard constantly itches in this fish room because it's roasting.
Snap.
When I'm on live stream, I just like get shinier and shinier because I'm sweating. The beard itches like mad. Not that it's anything on yours, Glenn.
Yes. Rob's got. You know something, Rob? I think I've got a bag. Or did I sell it? I can get the SL Aqua crushed lava because Rob had a large bag off me. I've got a feeling I've got some. I'd have to have a look. It's on one of the low racks, and I can't get down there because of my poor old back. But right, I'm. Yeah, I might give it a go, Karen. I'm the tank that you saw the oranges in. I have got some plans to move that tank out, but I was planning on probably doing the Wallstad tank in that. That was the tank I was planning on doing the Wallstad in.
If you do a Wallstad, you can put it in the corner and leave it.
If I haven't got a corner, that's a problem. Got no room in it. Got nowhere to put one. I've got a 20-litre tank with a project in of some green jades, and at some point I'm going to need to move them out as well.
You can move them to my house if you need the room.
Yeah, nice, isn't they? There's a video on that as well. I've got videos on everything.
I want to ask Rob a question. So we were talking about tubs, Rob. What tubs do you reckon would be best in my garden? Something that I can breed decent sized shrimp colonies out in. But the smallest decent sized tub I can use. What sort of, like a decent cheap tub, so I can buy loads of them. Now this is the bit where you wait. It's suspense. It's exciting. Where's the me? Fingers are going sensitive. It's exciting.
What about dying, man?
Oh no.
90 litre.
90 litre. What about? So that's interesting, that Glenn. Because I've found black tubs on there with a drain at the bottom, which I don't have to use the drain, but they're nice and cheap. So I was thinking of maybe doing, if we split my reds, what I might try and do is do like a deal. I've said it on my video today. If I do like, what did you say would be a good price for shrimp, Glenn? We've done like 10s for 25 quid or something. What's that?
Yeah, if you were selling them to the public, yeah. If you were selling them from a shop, you're not going to get that.
No, I think
So
forget about
I
quid.
do, at the moment,
Most.
for just cherries, I do. Most fish shops charge a fortune for them, man. But I do
Right.
them, so just for cherries, I do them at 10 for 25 quid.
Yeah.
But I always send about 12.
Yeah, that's what I said before the video.
You
Like
look in
250
$2.50 a shrimp.
Yeah.
There's a shop by me, and I'm sure I've put photos in a group of them. I went to the shop and I took photos of what they charged them for cherry shrimp that were proper see-through. Got the faintest bit of red to them.
I think
He
we're onto
was
the same thing,
charging
Rob.
$6.95 each, or 3 for 20 quid.
Yeah,
Unreal.
mad, isn't it? So
Unreal. I need to have a look what shops are charging for them, because I'm probably charging too little, but
yeah,
I know what I pay for them, and I'm happy to let them go at that. So I'm not there to rob people, you know what I mean? Never been there
yeah,
to rob people.
no. Well, that's why I like my plans have been keep saying I'll sort people out. £2 each. So if I said 20 for 10 and then threw 2 free in, and then would you help me with the packing, Glenn? Whatever I need for the
Too
packaging
easy.
and stuff.
Too easy.
Yeah,
Don't
but
need heat. You don't need heat packs, but you're not selling them through the winter.
No, I won't be selling them through the winter. They ship hard in the winter, apparently, don't they? Or is that just the YouTuber making that up?
To be honest, I've sent them.
Adam, take care, mate.
See you later, Adam. I've sent them in the winter. It wasn't super cold. I've sent them with a heat pack.
Yeah.
And Raw Mail delivered them to the wrong address, and she eventually got them 3 days later. They were freezing cold, but not one dead.
No,
Heat kills, cold. Heat kills,
No.
cold doesn't. That's all I ship in.
I had.
But
I don't know whether you've seen me video, Glenn, but I had a tank down here. I emptied my wall start from the living room, my old one, and I put the shrimp in here, and there must have been shrimplets. In fact, I don't even think I put the shrimp in here. I think I just put plants in. And there was no light on the tank. It was just water for months. There was no flow, no food, no nothing. And I caught something in my eye, and it was shrimp. It was, I think it was blue jellies. And they'd been in there for months with nothing. So I was like, wow, I think I had like a couple of blues, a couple of reds, and a couple of blue jellies.
I've had Caradina shrimplets. I've moved a plant into a tank that's cycling.
Yeah.
And there was Caradina shrimplets in there that I didn't know about, and it was up at 4 ppm ammonia. Never lost them.
Bloody hell. See, the thing is,
But
if it
at
raises...
low
Oh, sorry.
at low pH, ammonia is not toxic.
No, it's not ammonium and NH4. So plants prefer NH4 to NH3, don't they? But one's organic and one's inorganic. So, but
Karen saw you'll see her as Karen. It's Kaz. Kaz has seen £9 for yellows, and she'd have
I know
classed those as cool.
Everyone from the forum, Shrimp Fanatics, I was on there months ago. What I did was I set this tank up, and I started setting tanks up to breed shrimp and stuff. And I went on that group to do the research, like, because I thought these guys know what they're talking about. When about 10 minutes of being on there, I thought I've got an audacity. I keep saying it on all my lives and stuff. I've got an audacity trying to talk about shrimp because I know nothing compared to these guys. Like, I got schooled in 10 minutes.
I know nothing. I know
And
nothing.
I probably know stuff compared to like the average Joe on the street, but compared to the stuff everyone's talking about in that group, I thought I'm taking liberties if I want to palm myself off as someone who's knowledgeable of shrimp.
I'm going to
Well,
wrap up, guys. I'm
Yeah.
really struggling,
Cool.
and I'm going to get. How long have you been in there for?
Same here.
She must reckon I got another woman in here or something.
Well, why would you want that headache?
So last question then, and I know you can't tell from the bearded face, but does anyone notice that I've lost weight? No answer.
No answer. Takes 45 seconds each to come through.
I've lost over 2 stone, but I want to lose another. I was 20 stone Christmas.
What the hell?
I was 20 stone Christmas, and I'm on a weigh day tomorrow. I weigh the first of every month, but I did do a sneaky one about a week ago, and I was 17, 13. So just over 2 stone. I'm hoping to be sort of 17, 10, 17, 12. But I want to get down to 15 stone. My cheeks are more prominent. Yes, that's because I'm trying to get the light in. That is, I'm trying to get a job as Santa for Christmas, like. But thank you so much for joining the live, everybody. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyable. And we've got to do. We promised we'd do it. We did a poll on the group, and the live was going to be Caradina for Beginners won it. So, which is probably why I'm doing the video Caradinas for Beginners. But the expert that I wanted on it was Rob, and I need to buy him. He probably needs to do a test one first, and then I need to buy him a tripod because he lost his tripod, but they're not expensive.
You need to come on and have a bit of banter with us first.
I'll sort him a tripod out. His beard's better than mine as well. Thanks, everybody. Speak soon.
Good. Take care. Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
good. Take care, everybody. We'll make it a regular thing, but we'll post. We need to get something planned, but more regular than we have. They've just been random of past, but now we know what we can do. We can have a go, you know. Thanks, everybody.
YouTube one.
Yeah, me too. My voice is going as well.
Right, let's
Take care.
See you later. Good night.